Here in New York, we will not stand on the sidelines with the timid souls on the sidelines who don't care, will not invest their heart and soul into this battle. This is a war. We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
That is New York Governor Kathy Hochul earlier this hour, welcoming Texas Democratic lawmakers to her state after dozens of them fled the Lone Star State to block a vote on new congressional maps. The redistricting plan backed by President Trump could help Republicans pick up 5 more House seats in Texas, turning one state's fight into a national debate on political power. And now those Texas Democrats are getting assistance from several blue state governors while facing the threat of losing their seats or even arrest back home. And joining us now, House Minority Leader, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York. Leader Jeffries, thanks for being with us. Texas Governor Gov.Abbott's now threatening felony charges. He's threatening to replace these state Democrats. What's your reaction to these threats?
Well, the Texas governor is a cowardly, fake bully. He was ordered by Donald Trump to convene a special session of the legislature in order to gerrymander the Texas congressional map and try to rig the midterm elections. This is taking place at a moment in time where just a few weeks ago, more than 100 people, including dozens of children, drowned to death in the Texas Hill Country as a result of that historic flooding and inaction or lack of preparation by Governor Abbott and Republicans in Texas. This is a cowardly move by Republicans in Texas, and I'm so appreciative of the courage, the character, and the conviction being shown by Texas Democrats from the legislature.
New York Governor Hochul, we just played there, calling this redistricting fight a war, saying this is a war. We are at war. Is that how you see it?
Democrats are going to respond from coast to coast and at all points in between to this effort to steal the midterm elections. Republicans are on the run right now. Donald Trump is deeply unpopular. Their one big ugly bill, which is now law, is deeply unpopular. It rips away health care from millions of Americans, steals food from the mouths of children. All of this is being done in terms of hurting everyday Americans so they can reward their billionaire donors. And they don't want to face the voters in a free and fair election. Perhaps Donald Trump and Mike Johnson and Republicans in Washington and in Texas thought that Democrats would not respond. We're going to respond forcefully, aggressively, and relentlessly.
What do you mean this is an effort to steal the midterm elections?
The Republicans in Texas already drew a gerrymandered map that is being challenged in court as we speak. But that's not good enough for them. So they now want to enact a separate map in the middle of the decade that takes 5 seats that are currently held from Democrats, including several in majority-minority communities around Austin, Houston, and Dallas, breaks them apart and tries to put them into Republican hands. These extremists want to be able to choose their voters as opposed to allowing the Texas voters to choose the people who should be privileged to represent them in Washington. It's theft. That's what gerrymandering in its extreme form is. And that's what Republicans are trying to do.
Is that the case then if Texas repercussions lead to California, lead to New York, lead to Illinois, potentially doing the same in those states to try to pick up more Democratic seats?
Great question. We're going to respond and respond forcefully. However, we also will operate within the constraints of the Voting Rights Act, which is not what Texas Democrats are doing. We need fair maps and one national standard. And that's why responses in Democratic states will be required. However, what was happening in Texas before and what is going on in Texas right now in terms of this second attempt to gerrymander the map, we believe violates the Voting Rights Act. You will not see that happen in Democratic states, but you will see governors and state legislatures and, of course, members of the House Democratic Caucus respond in kind. There is no unilateral disarmament. when we're in the middle of an all-out assault by Donald Trump and Republican sycophants on the economy, on health care, on our way of life, on law-abiding immigrant communities, on democracy itself.
You've called the Texas Republicans behind these redistricting efforts cowards, but this effort can be traced right up to the White House. The president has made no secret he wants this. Republicans want to cement control of your chamber for a long time. They control all levers of government right now. Realistically, how can you stop them?
Understand that Donald Trump is afraid of the fact that the voters are prepared, in our view, to reject this impotent House Republican majority that has done nothing to improve the quality of life for everyday Americans, done nothing to lower the high cost of living, nothing to give these hardworking American taxpayers across the country the ability to thrive when right now people can barely survive and Donald Trump and House Republicans are crashing the economy in real time. We're only 3 seats short from taking back the House. That is a historically close number. That is what has House Republicans and Donald Trump scared to death of what is going to happen in the midterm election. That's why we're seeing this extraordinary action in Texas. But you also are going to see an extraordinary response from Democrats coast to coast throughout the country and at all points in between.
We're just getting some new reporting as we speak right now from our White House team. And according to an administration official, there are no plans to use federal agents to go arrest these Texas lawmakers who left the state. The quote here, Governor Gov.Abbott can handle his own state. If the Texas governor moves to charge or arrest these lawmakers, what will House Democrats do? Anything? Can you do anything?
That move will be challenged, of course, immediately in court, and we're going to collectively ensure that the Texas House Democrats are provided with all of the support that they need, and that, of course, includes ensuring this is the decent and right thing to do, ensuring that they can't be bullied unlawfully by Governor Abbott or the so-called Attorney General in Texas, or any of these other Republican sycophants who, instead of actually providing relief and recovery and resiliency efforts to the people who are suffering in the Texas Hill Country and beyond as a result of this historic flooding, they called this special session using the cover of that suffering because they want to jam this gerrymandered map down the throats of the people of Texas and the American people. And we're not going to allow it to happen in Texas to the best of our ability, and certainly will respond all across the country.
So leaving the state is an example of Democratic lawmakers there in Texas fighting back. But it comes at a time when a new AP poll shows many Democratic voters see your party as weak or ineffective. These are Democratic voters. We also saw that recent poll by the Wall Street Journal showing voters trust congressional Republicans over Democrats on handling most issues, from the economy to immigration to foreign policy, with Democrats getting their lowest rating in that poll in 35 years. Does any of that surprise you?
In that same Wall Street Journal poll, when they were asked, who would you prefer in control of the House of Representatives in November of 2026, the so-called generic ballot question, Democrats won in that very same Wall Street Journal poll. So certainly it's the case that we're in a more is more environment, and we have to continue to do more rallies, more press conferences, more protests, more sit-ins, more speeches on the House floor, more speeches on the Senate floor, more extraordinary actions, more site visits, more town hall meetings in Democratic districts, more town hall meetings in Republican districts. We're in a more is more environment. We have to continue to build upon that and earn the trust of the American people, including Democrats, who are understandably disappointed at the results of the November 2024 election and the situation that the country finds itself in. But our view is, do not be discouraged, do not be disheartened, do not be dismayed. We're going to continue to show up and stand up and speak up. We're going to end this national nightmare in America, and we're going to continue our country's march toward a more perfect union.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.